What up, everybody? What up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So I tried to do this earlier, and we had a little bit of technical issues. I'm going to go ahead and tweet this out and see how many individuals we can actually get to watch this, because this is the pilot episode of Dolphin Fan Voices. It's three of us here right now. We will have a fourth individual coming. We're just waiting on him to show up. And next week, we will have another co-host tuning in with us. Starting off right now, let's have everybody go ahead and introduce themselves. First person, go ahead.
Go on.
Aaron?
Yeah. Is he here? Well, I'll go first.
Go ahead.
Oh well, you wanna go first, man?
Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway, from El Paso, Texas. My you could say my whole family is scattered with a bunch of Cowboys, Broncos. I'm the only Dolphin fan in my family. So I pretty much became a Dolphin fan when the Culpepper days. I want to say around there. Considering the fact that I am barely 21 years old. Um, it's been an up and down experience, man. Of course, that's with any Dolphin fan. Um, but yeah, man, loyalty. I mean, loyalty is 100% for me. So glad to be a Fins fan.
Yeah, my name's Stefan. I'm from Miami Gardens, Florida, basically. I've been a Dolphins fan since 2010. Been watching since Chad Henne and Brandon Marshall. Really, the old mediocre days. Really, uh, really, I'm only the only sports fan in my family. Heat fan, Dolphins fan, really any sport. So yeah.
Um, and I am, of course, my name is Isaiah. I'm from Miami. I now stay in Atlanta just for work purposes. I will never be a freaking Falcons fan. I have been basically a Dolphin fan since birth. Um, I mean, it was the team that my father rooted for. So I basically still root for every single team my father ever rooted for. I grew up basically across the street from the stadium, across Lake Lucerne from the stadium. Um, I mean, just like other co-hosts, I've been a Dolphin fan, Heat fan, Marlin fan, Panther fan my entire life. Um, so, who would like to start off first talking about yesterday's game? And I guess we could start off with the good parts. Let's start off with the good parts of what you saw yesterday, during yesterday's game.
Well, I like how our cornerbacks really showed their ball skills. Xavier Howard, Cordrea Tankersley. That's why we drafted them. Big physical corners who can press and with ball skills. They both got interceptions last night, so that's nice to see.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I'm gonna point out something that hasn't really been pointed out, and that's the aggression of our receivers so far, especially Devontae Parker. He's really getting down and dirty, man. He's almost becoming like a mini Jews per se, and that I'm really liking what Parker's pulling out this year.
Absolutely. And from my point of view, uh, the good things that I saw were the defensive line. I really, really love the tandem of Sue and Gotcha up the middle. I think that's going to be fantastic. I kept watching Sue get penetration into the backfield over and over again, and I think as Gotcha matures and becomes an even better defensive tackle, he's going to take some of that pressure off of Sue. And if teams start having that type of issues with Gotcha and not being able to put so many double teams on Sue, look out, because he's still a nightmare coming up that middle. even with being double teamed. But with a guy like Godchild and his motor, he's gonna make Sue even that much better of a player.
Yeah, yeah. I think really Sue is really great for Godchild because Jordan Phillips went in the second round because he is a great physical talent. He's athletic. For a big guy, he moves around fast. I mean, he's really strong. So, but the thing about Godchild, his technique and his skills as a defensive tackle is better. He's not as athletic. He's not as tall, but he's about 6'1". He has all the skills you'd want as a defensive tackle. He needs to polish them up, but I see Sue on the sidelines get, in his ear, telling him, giving him advice, things like that. So he does the same for Jordan Phillips, but it's not working for him.
No,
That's
I'm Jordan Phillips has been a straight bust. He's been an absolute bust for us so far, and I'm kind of wondering if at some point we maybe even this year. I don't know if they would do it this year, but at some point I think it's probably going to be get to a point where we move on from him. I've heard like he was complaining on why he was being a backup during training camp. So there there might be a possibility of us just having to move on from him.
I saw a few games last year where Jordan Phillips was completely pancaked by the guard. And one of those games specifically was the Ram game. He was like literally flat on his back, and it's almost like we're running a 3-4. To be honest with you, and I think that's really taking effect on our linebackers too. The lack of effort on that second interior lineman, and that's one of the reasons why we've been in that bottom half of the standings as far as defense. So I mean, if Godchow could bring something to the table where he could be a little bit more footloose as far as getting off blocks, man, that's gonna be really helpful for our defense.
I mean, last season with uh, Jordan Phillips and Sue was getting double teamed on basically every play, and Jordan Phillips couldn't do anything. He couldn't pass rush, couldn't stop the run. So it's basically like we had no defensive tackles. And on top of that, Kiko Alonso is really not much of a run stopper. He's really a pass coverage linebacker who's supposed to be out wide. So we basically had no run defense. And Andre Branks said it in the offseason that the reason the run defense was so bad is because the team had like no trust. There was no trust.
Exactly. And that's why one of the reasons why I think our run defense has definitely taken a step up. I mean, you add Timmons. Uh, so, man, I don't even want to talk about Raekwon because I thought that was going to be very big. Um, you add Timmons. You put Kiko out as his the spot that he's supposed to be in, and then you add Godchild along with Sue, and then you add Hayes, who has a crazy motor. I'm talking
Mm.
about a crazy motor for a man that freaking big. Along with and I think we've definitely made drastic steps to go up in our run defense. If we have a season like we did last year in our run defense, I will be absolutely shocked.
I mean, the way I viewed it, when I went into the upcoming season, with the additions that we made, assuming there were no injuries, with like me assuming that Tannehill was going to improve, our run defense was going to improve, I thought we'd go 10-6 again because our schedule gets tougher, but we improve in talent, so it balances itself out. So I wanted to say 11-5, 12-4, but I wanted to be more realistic about it. Now at this point, we're losing depth. I feel, in my opinion, I feel like we took a slight downgrade at quarterback. So now
Yep.
maybe we can maybe go 8-8 or 9-7, hopefully, but I believe in that in this. So
See, I think that in this season, and it's one of the reasons why I was really not happy with the Cutler signing, is I really feel like there's going to be a lot of close games this season.
yeah,
I feel like we're going to get into a lot of close games, and it's going to come down to 1 and 2 possessions. And those possessions are going to be key. I think that Falcon game is going to come down to 1 and 2 possessions. Which team makes the least mistakes? The same for the Raiders, those 2 Patriot games, that Carolina game, that even that first game. That Tampa Bay game to me is going to come down to 1 and 2 possessions. And it's going to be who makes the least mistakes. And Cutler, as much as I have respect for Gase, Cutler to me is either gonna make us or he's gonna break us in those really close games.
You know, what I assume they did in Chicago was, I think the reason that Cutler only threw 11 interceptions when he was in Chicago is because the type of scheme Adam Gase wants to run is he wants an extension of the running game. So what he wants to do is throw a lot of screens and he wants to run the football. Not a
Yep,
lot of throwing the ball down the field. And I'm pretty sure that was successful in Chicago because they had a good offensive line, some good receivers. So I'm pretty sure that was successful in Chicago. But in Miami, that just wasn't the case because our our players just weren't able to execute those screens early in the season, and that was part of the reason why we were so lost. And we didn't really have a direction until we started relying on Jay Ajayi more and running the football and being more balanced instead of having Ryan Tannehill try to throw the ball 35 times, trying to make him a quarterback that he really isn't.
correct, correct. So, what is your opinion on the offensive line, the potential of this offensive line right now with the guys that we have?
um, I think we have a real hole at the left guard spot. Ted Larson out there, I really don't trust Isaac Asiata. I mean, he is a good run blocking guard, but as a pass blocker, he has a long way to go. I mean, we still have Jermon Bushrod, James, Pouncey, and Tunsil, so we have those 4 spots locked down. Those are 4 solid offensive linemen.
Yep,
The left guard spot, that is the real trouble spot right there. I don't know what we're gonna do there, but we have to see.
true.
We could, Brandon Albert's in free agency right now, and I was thinking, it's like we could basically have gotten Julius Thomas for free. We can go out in free agency right now and just get Brandon Albert and have him as depth.
Yes, or plug him back in.
Yeah, yeah.
I was
Well, maybe he declined physically a little bit. I don't know. We haven't seen him enough in training camps for Miami to really have that much trust in him just to throw him back in there because Miami really hasn't seen him in camp. But I think they can gradually get him back into the starting lineup over time. But I don't
yep.
think he'll start day one. I don't think he'll start day one.
No, no. Depending on what kind of shape he's in right now. I mean, he would still come in and know everything that's going on, know the scheme and the playbook. But it would all depend on what kind of health he's in right now. I also would like to know what he's asking, what type of price he's asking, and that might be the biggest problem right there.
To
What?
be honest with you, I honestly think that he really won't gain much interest unless it's like a team that really needs bad offensive line help badly, like the Seahawks or something like that. But I would like to think he'll take a discount to come back here because at this point in his career, 32, 33 years old, I'm pretty sure at this point in his career, he doesn't want to keep moving around from city to city, state to state, just to play football at this point. I
True.
think he would rather stay in the state of Florida where he can play in a place that he's familiar and on a playoff team. Why wouldn't he want to do that? Maybe we can get it for $2 to $3 million. I'm sure he'll take that.
That would be excellent.
Yeah.
I don't know how much cap space we have at this point after the Cutler signing, but I mean, if he would come in for 2-3 million, that would be fantastic for us. Now, I've also heard rumors that it is a possibility that we could be trading for a linebacker.
Hmm.
What are
Well,
your
yeah.
what are your thoughts on the play of Mike Hall yesterday? And do you think we really need to trade for a linebacker, or should we just try to get some depth?
You know what? The way I viewed it is in today's NFL, 60% of the snaps defensive players take is in the nickel
Right.
and in sub packages. So
Right.
the need for a middle linebacker is not that big. So really, if we go with Mike Hull, he can be decent. He can
Right.
give you maybe 5 to 6 tackles a game, but I think we can survive with Mike Hull as a middle linebacker. I don't think if we can get a decent middle linebacker that is maybe slightly better than Mike Hull at stopping the run for maybe a 6th or 7th round draft pick, I'll definitely take that. But if maybe we can trade away Jordan Phillips for some middle linebacker, I'll be satisfied with that too.
I was looking at Levy from the Lions. I still don't know what's going on with him, but
ACL injuries, a
he's
lot of
still
them.
he's not back. He's not healthy yet.
Maybe his, but maybe he can be ready. I don't know. You can research it. Or I research it. I can research it. See what's going on with him.
Wow. Here's an article from. Actually, this is from April 2016.
I
So
mean, the
there's
guy's.
no. Go ahead.
I mean, the guy's an absolute ball hawk. I mean, when he was in his prime with the Lions, this guy was forcing fumbles, interceptions. I mean, like 110 tackles in a season. I mean, for that 2 3 year stretch, he was top five linebacker in the NFL.
Yep.
Probably all of his athleticism is gone now with those ACL injuries. I don't know. Hopefully not.
He's still only 30 years old, which is I don't know. I guess it's starting. It's right there in that starting to go down side for a linebacker. But shoot, there's still linebackers playing at 35, 40 years old in the NFL.
The
Wow.
thing is, I really want to wonder when he suffered the ACL injury.
Let's see.
Wait, I think it was a meniscus tear. Wait, um, so it says that he went through the knee surgery a year ago, so he should be recovered by now.
Absolutely, but I haven't heard any talk about him at all. And we a few weeks ago brought in. Wait a minute, is he still on the Lions?
No, it says unsigned free agent.
Right, right. I'm looking at Fox Sports right now.
Man, he hasn't even played the last 2 seasons practically. 2015, he played 1 game. In 2016, he played 5 games. That's why nobody wants to sign him at this point.
Oh, that's what it is then.
In 2014, he had 151 tackles,
Sheesh.
4 pass deflections, and an interception. In 2013, he had 119 tackles, 15 pass deflections, and 6 interceptions. So that's what he was capable of when he was healthy. But
Right. But
it's the
those
rise and fall.
yeah, those injuries have really taken a toll on him. Let's see. What did you think of Julius Thomas yesterday? Didn't get to see get a big sample of him, but from what you saw, what did you think of it?
He was okay. I mean, there's not much you can really judge.
Right,
There's not much to judge. You just have to see him with Jay Cutler and Matt Moore, and see how he plays with those guys. I mean, you can't judge a guy off of like the ball being thrown to him maybe one or twice.
right, right,
But
right.
I mean, any bad NFL player can go out, run a route, and catch one pass. So you
True.
never know. You never
Yep.
know.
See that's the thing that I was talking to people in these groups about, and the thing that I really don't understand, and I can flat out tell when I'm talking to a casual football fan when they start talking about win records, loss records in preseason, or how many points. I had people telling me, "Oh man, we suck again," or some. I'm like, it's preseason. Our starting quarterback threw like 6 passes.
Yeah.
It's preseason. It's they're only I think only the people who really understand football come out of preseason with an accurate assessment.
Yeah. And truth be told, a lot of the guys that play, they
Right,
really have no chemistry, and that's a big reason of why these guys are just playing for themselves at this point. When you in football, there are jobs like in coverage. There's a job that everybody has to do. So you're connected from that perspective, but there's a lot of breakdowns and things of that nature because there's no chemistry between these guys. One guy may execute their job perfectly, another guy may not, because there's not that level of communication that they have together. Just
Right.
some guys that got picked up off the practice squad or picked up from as an undrafted free agent from college, that really have no chemistry. That's a big part of it too, along with the fact that these guys just aren't very talented like
Sure.
that. But
All
yeah,
right. So I do not know what happened to Aaron. I guess his phone died. But folks, I see that we have look like we have 6 folks watching this first broadcast. I was talking about before we came on to the podcast. Every single every single game that goes on throughout this season will be uploaded onto the website. I'm going to create a website for this individual podcast. On that website, it will have the games throughout the season, and it will have the podcast leading up to it, and then probably after. I have to coordinate and see exactly how that's going to work. I'm going to work on getting the podcast on iTunes and on SoundCloud so that if you guys want to listen to the podcast while you're driving, you don't want to be on your phone using your data, whatever the case may be, you'll be able to go on and download it and check out the podcast. But next week there will probably be 5 of us as we go ahead and try to make this podcast. Any final words, man?
yeah, it was a great first experience. Hope to do this again. Hopefully, we do this for the entire regular season. Hopefully,
Uh,
we get a lot more people in on this.
absolutely, absolutely. And Aaron just joined back on the call, and we went back up to 8 people. Aaron, are you back with us?
Yep, I'm sorry about that, man. It's the whole charging thing. Just bear with me.
That's cool. That's cool. All right, man. We were just getting ready to wrap up, man. Do you have any do you have any final words you like to say?
Damn. Well, I don't know what you guys really talked about right there at the end, but I just hope this season goes well, man. I mean, this team has, to be honest with you guys, this team has 12-4 potential. Um,
Ooh,
Color has absolutely no excuses. It's really up to him, and we'll see what happens.
I mean, I want to be optimistic, but with the schedule we had last season, if we didn't have all the injuries we had, we could have gone like 13-3. If if we could figure it out, if we figured it out the way we figured it out against the Steelers last season, from week one, we could have, we could have, we could have been in the top four of our conference and maybe had a home game. We didn't have to be a wild card, but that's just not the case. Now, this upcoming season, we have a much tougher schedule, and being 12-4 with the way we're losing depth already, I mean, it's
I
it's
I
unlikely.
I I have us going 9-6, which I mean we'd probably be barely in there. Um, but I think worst case scenario we might go 6-10. Best case scenario we'll go 11-5. But this overall team, this roster, has 12-4 potential. Hope I'm not wrong. Um, but I mean, guys like Parker, Stills, Landry, the two more Thomas, Anthony Fasano, our defense possibly being top 10 type of defense. I mean, we could definitely compete with the Patriots, man. I mean, that's not something that's out of out of proportion. That's nothing that's like, oh my God, it's never gonna happen because we've done it in the past. We've beaten them. It's just keeping consistency throughout the season and not losing to teams like the Titans at home. Those are winnable games for us. Last year, I think we should have gone 12-4. To be honest with you, we shouldn't have lost to Tennessee. We should have had a closer game at Baltimore, and we should have lost to the Pats that last game. It's just about consistency. If we're able to keep that, I think we'll have a pretty good season. Um, but I mean, it's all on Cutler's shoulders. So we'll
Yeah.
see.
True.
Well, I think the X factors are. We already know what everybody's gonna bring, but I think the X factors are. I think our defense can be top 12. Devontae Parker cannot continue to go 3 to 4 weeks at a time with him having only 2 receptions in a game for like 20 yards. That just can't happen again.
Right.
We need this guy to be more consistent. It can't be on Jarvis Landry. We know Kenny Stills isn't much of a possession receiver. He's a deep threat who can catch the occasional slant maybe, but that's about it. So we need him to be more consistent, and we need Fasano and Julius Thomas to give us about 70 catches combined, and our offensive line not and to be healthy. I mean, those are the things that killed us last season.
Right. And definitely, I would I would hope that Gase's commitment to the run that we showed later in the season, we come right out of the gate with that same effort as far as our run game is concerned. But yeah, I'm looking at all of the articles and everything that I've heard coming out of the press that that's going to be a commitment that we have, and now we're better suited to run the ball, especially with a blocking tight end like Fasano, who just takes us to that next level as far as blocking at the tight end position. I think he's definitely an upgrade from what we had last year at the
I,
tight end spot of blocking.
I
I,
totally
I
agree.
think I think those AFC West games and our division, they're going to be really, really crucial. Just for the simple fact that the AFC West is full of playoff teams. I mean, you're looking at Raiders, Chiefs, and Broncos, and possibly even San Diego, or I'm sorry, Los Angeles. So I mean, I think those games, the AFC West and our own division, they're must-win games. I mean, if we fall behind, I mean that's their. I think there goes our playoff chances. You know what I mean?
To be
Exactly.
to be honest with you, I just have this aching feeling that we're gonna win all those games. Honestly, to me, I really feel like we're gonna beat the Raiders. I feel like we can beat the Broncos because their quarterback situation is shit, and their running back situation is fairly decent, and they have a decent offensive line. But if Jay Cutler doesn't turn the ball over, that will probably be a low scoring game. I really feel like we'll win all those AFC West games. I think the Chiefs that Chief game that just may be unlikely, but I think can definitely win those first 3 AFC West games. I definitely think we can win those.
I think we can beat that Chief team if we're able to come out, run the ball, stop their running game, and force them to let make Alex Smith beat us. I think that's what it'll come down with the Chiefs. The Raider game is definitely the scariest of them all of those West Coast games. Broncos just have a great secondary. That's what makes them fucking scary. They have three very good cornerbacks out there, and all of them are pretty much opportunistic as far as taking the ball away. So that's the really scary part of going into that game with Jay Cutler. Is even though I think we're the more talented team on offense,
Hmm.
our quarterback can't make the mistakes.
You know the Chiefs. The thing about the Chiefs are what people really don't know about the Chiefs. They really don't pass for many yards. Their running game isn't very great. Their running defense isn't very great. But what they do is they get turnovers. Marcus Peters, Eric Berry, those guys get turnovers. We go in there in December, and it's going to be snowing in Kansas City by then. It's going to be snowing. It's going to be a lot of wind, gust, and their guys can really catch the football and intercept the football. That's why I feel like that is the type of game where it's going to be tremendously difficult going into December versus that kind of team. Nothing about them is really specifically difficult, but it's just the way they just find ways to win games. That type of team during that type of year. So
What
I
I'll
don't
is
tell
know.
you guys. I'll tell you guys one thing. Those last after, if you guys look at our schedule, if after our bye, it's nothing but AFC games. So I don't know. Maybe I don't know if you agree with me, Isaiah. But if we start off the season strong, which everybody's predicting we are, I think after our bye week, our guys should be rested and everything goes smoothly. We could completely shift our focus. We could kind of split our schedule into two and split our focus to those last AFC games, which I think will predict our playoff chances. To be honest with you guys, I don't think the first half of the season will be as important. It's important because we need to start strong, but the second half I just see it a lot more dangerous just because of the simple fact that we play Buffalo, Kansas City, Denver, and the Patriots, and that's twice. So really, I mean, it's gonna be a fun season. But we should really look out for those last 7 8 games that we have. I think they speak playoffs to me. I don't know about you guys.
absolutely that first, what is it, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, that first 10 games before the bye week is Tampa, Chargers, Jets, Saints, Titans, then Falcons, Jets, Baltimore, Oakland, and Carolina. If we come out of that first 10 8-2, I would be ecstatic. That would be 8-2 and only losing to the Falcons and Oakland.
I wait. Buccaneers, Chargers, Jets, Saints, Titans, Falcons, Jets. Um, out of the first couple of games to the Ravens game, I could really only see us losing about 3 games. So
You could see us losing 3 games in that first couple.
I could see us out of the first 9 games of our schedule. I think I could see us winning 6 games,
Okay.
and I could see us losing to the Ravens, Falcons, and Titans. Those are the only teams that I really see a stretch there. The Buccaneers, they're good, but I feel like we can. I feel like we'll have a good start.
I think it going based on paper. I think, but this is just going based on paper. I think we're talented, more talented than half of the teams that we're playing. To be honest with you guys, that's why I say I believe we'll start off strong. But I'm just really scared on that second half of the season after the bye week. I just hope our guys just don't lose focus, and I mean, I hope we don't lose games that we should win, like per se that home game against Denver. That is a winnable game. There's no excuses for losing that one unless Cutler has a 5 6 interception game. Knock on wood. And especially that home game against Buffalo. All of the home games that we have on that second half of the season should be winnable. But as far as at New England, at Buffalo, and at Kansas City, those will be the make or break games for me as far as either making the playoffs or just completely getting blown out.
Man, like a lot of the games that we have after our bye week is just really a death row of games. I mean, some of these teams, they're great on one side of the ball, they're great on the other side of the ball, on the defensive side of the ball, or they're great on both ends, like the Patriots. And maybe the Panthers, they have potential to do that, but the keys I think are special teams, field position, and just not turn the ball over. We know what we want to do. We want to be balanced. We want to run the ball, and we just want to be a good defense, a top 12 defense. We know what we want to do, but versus these kinds of teams and just field positions are the differences.
I just I just really hope this or Adam Gaze isn't taking this season as a. I hope he's not taking it lightly, because what I've seen from him is that he's really, really stubborn on his decisions. So I just hope by week 10 or by week 9, Cutler is having a horrendous season and he's still out there. Because I swear to God, like I mean, I would put Cutler on a short leash. I would, if by week 5 or 6 this man has more interceptions than touchdowns. I am putting Matt Moore in, just because of the simple fact that I mean it's really really crucial that we win some games. But I know, knowing Adam Gase, this man's gonna come out, just chill, press conference, yada yada yada, and completely ignore the fact that color is bad. And hopefully it doesn't happen. But I know Cutler and Gaze are pretty much best friends. I just hope he just doesn't throw this season away just because of Cutler being there. You know what I mean?
You know, I think it's kind of Adam Gase and Clyde Christensen are really different. Every time, literally every time I read an article or I hear something come out of Clyde Christensen's mouth, it's something positive about somebody. It's like you never hear a negative word come out this man's mouth. And Adam Gase with the media is just really straightforward. He really doesn't sugarcoat anything for everybody. He's just straightforward and straight to the point. So there's a contrast there. So I don't know. Maybe Clyde Christensen will. I don't know if Clyde Christensen is maybe if Jay Cutler struggles. I don't know if he's the right guy to be in Adam Gase's ear to tell him, hey, maybe we should pull this guy out if Adam Gase really isn't seeing that himself. I don't really know if Clyde Christensen's that guy, to be on his side. He trusts
I know.
Clyde Christensen to do his dirty work behind the scenes when it comes to because Adam Gase has to be the head coach. He has to look over the whole entire football team. So he trusts Clyde Christensen to do his dirty work for him on the offensive side. Doing film reviews for him, just doing certain things like that. But so I don't know.
I heard a few stuff that Clyde Christensen's really playing the role of almost like a quarterback whisperer. So I know he got real close with Tannehill when he was healthy, and uh, and that helped him out quite a lot. I just hope Cutler could find chemistry and like honestly, I hope they really, really mesh together well. So far, what I saw yesterday, I mean, it looked really good. It looked fluent. Um, it all has to mesh, like I said. I mean, it's not gonna happen from one game to the next, but um, I have high expectations on Color, and maybe not Pro Bowl expectations, but I'm thinking he's probably gonna have the same type of season he had in 2015, maybe better. Um, but we need a 2015 color times 10. I don't know if you saw in one of my comments, Isaiah. That's what I put on one of the things on Facebook.
Yeah.
We need that Cutler times 10. I mean, especially going up against the Patriots, Bills, because I think we have a much much stronger division than the what is it, the NFC North.
Yep.
Um, so I think Color really needs to be in the zone, in his A game. Uh, I mean, he just needs to put his past behind him and just, I mean, start fresh. I mean, you never know. Maybe by next season we may be talking about a quarterback competition, but I don't want to get ahead of myself. But we'll just see.
Ooh, ooh, that
You
that
know,
that that's a conversation I want to have for the next episode. That was a thought that was roaming through my head.
me
And,
too.
and what happens if we have a $10 million Cutler and then he does well, and then we bring back our $20 million quarterback that hasn't played for a year and what 3 games or something like that. That's going to be a very interesting conversation. But I want to wrap this up now because my wife is going to hit me over the head with something soon. So we will be back before. Let's link up before the Raven game, I mean, before the Eagles game and talk about that third game, and then we'll come back after that game is over and talk about what we saw. All right.
All right, that sounds like fun.
Sound good?
All right.